Hello and welcome to your lesson on explaining the interdependence within the savanna. Today we are going to start with understanding key terms such as biotic and abiotic and what they mean. Then we are going to describe the food chains and food webs that exist within the savanna, and then we are going to explain the interdependence within the savanna, so what the word interdependence means and what happens in the savanna. For today, the equipment needed is pen or pencil, paper, YouTube, and word wall. You'll need to pay attention to what I'm going to explain because at the end you will have to test your knowledge on this. All ecosystems and biomes are made up of both biotic and abiotic parts. So what do these words mean? A biotic is living things, plants and animals like lions, trees and grasses, while abiotic means non-living things like climate, soil, water, oxygen. Well, both biotic and abiotic parts of the nature interact. They get together and create an ecosystem. A large ecosystem would be a biome, and today we are focusing on the savanna, the biome savanna. Now that you've understood what both biotic and biotic means, you'll have to complete a word wall game to test your knowledge. You will have to categorize the parts of the biome and make sure you take a picture at the end. A link to this would be on class chat. So stop the video and complete the word wall game. Now going to look at food chains and food webs, and we are going to start with food chains. A food chain shows a group of living organisms, so plants and animals, within an ecosystem and what eats what in order to survive. So it's a set of links of what eats what in order to survive. For example, in the savanna, we've got grasses, which are eaten by the zebras, and zebras, which are eaten by the hyenas. Now, they always have to start with something that can make its own food. Normally plants, trees, greens, like for example here, grasses. Grasses are the producer because they produce their own food. Without them, the chain wouldn't be able to exist and it will never exist. So each one of these animals depends on the producer, the grasses. Now, the arrows show the directions of the energy. It points at who is doing the eating. So it points at who is consuming the energy. Where is that energy going to? Now we are going to look at food webs. A food chain shows one set of links, and we've looked at that just now. While a food web is a group of food chains which are linked together. So there are multiple food chains which show what eats what. If we're looking at this food web here, we've got at the bottom grasses and acacia tree. Those are the producers because they produce their own food, so we are calling them the producers. Without them, the food chain wouldn't be possible, wouldn't be able to exist. The first thing that eats the producer is called a primary consumer. And examples for this are zebras, antelopes, and giraffes because they are the first to eat the producers. So greens, they are usually greens. The next one in the food chain, in the food web, is a secondary consumer, and they are usually meat eaters, they're carnivores, they are eating the primary consumer. That's why they are called secondary consumer, because they are coming next. And as an example, we've got hyenas, lions, leopards, and so on. Now, what do you have to do? To test your knowledge, you will have to complete the diagram game on WordWall and make sure to take a picture of this when it's done. A link to this, again, is on class charts. If you want to challenge yourself or if you're aiming for a higher grade, think, where do you think a lion would fit in this food web? What would it eat? So stop the video and complete the WordWall game. Now we are going to explain interdependence within the savanna. So what does this word means? Interdependence is just another word for depending on each other. It just means how different things depend on each other. For example, interdependence within a biome like savanna means how biotic living parts like animals and abiotic non-living parts like water, soil depend on each other. We've got an image here of some giraffes, but there's not only giraffes. We've got soil and grass there as well. The soil is interdependent with the grass because the grass depends on the soil to grow. The soil also depends on the grass because without the grass to decompose, the soil wouldn't have the minerals, the necessary minerals. The giraffe is dependent on the grass to survive. So the giraffe is interdependent with the grass because without the grass, it wouldn't be able to survive. It would starve. But also the soil here is interdependent with the giraffe because every time the giraffe goes to the toilet or if the giraffe dies, the soil transforms its waste in nutrients. So it creates a better soil. Now, what are you going to have to do? You'll have to choose a character from The Lion King that is a secondary consumer. So think carefully. Is this a carnivore? Is this a secondary consumer? And then explain how they depend on other parts of the biome, or living parts or non-living parts, by filling the gaps or circling the correct answer. So you've got the box here and you just have to complete the correct answer. Make sure you put this on a piece of paper and take a picture of it at the end to show it to your teacher. We are now at the end of our lesson of explaining interdependence within the savannah. Now what you must upload is a picture of your task 1 categorized game completed, a picture of task 2 diagram result, and a picture of task 3 explanation. Thank you for taking part in this lesson. You've done great. And we'll see you next time. Bye.